Up2date Sports. Hello everybody, it's Quinn Brown. We're going to be starting a new segment called Quinn's Quick Picks today, where it's based off of College Game Day. I'm just going to pick games for the week ahead that, like my predictions about them, and I'm going to tell you why I think that. So let's get into it. So the first game we've got for next week is Boise State versus New Mexico. Boise State's ranked number 22, and I think Boise State is going to win this one after a close game versus Wyoming. And New Mexico is going to try to come ready to play, but Boise State's just going to be too much for them, and they're going to win 45-7. All right, the second game we've got next week is number 20 Cincinnati and South Florida. I think South Florida is going to be ready to play after having a disappointing season, and Cincinnati is going to come in. And Cincinnati's going to get a scare, but I think it will be a close game, and it will finish 31-27. Cincinnati's going to win. All right, after Kansas State's disappointing loss, I think they're going to be fired up, but I think it's going to be a closer game than people are expecting, and it's going to be 59-42. Kansas State's going to win, but West Virginia's going to come in and play their hearts out, and it's going to be closer than people will expect. All right, next game we've got is Oklahoma State versus Kansas. Now, I think Oklahoma State's just clearly the better team here. They're going to win this game by a lot. They're going to win 37-13, and it's not really going to be close. Kansas is just going to have a late attack at the end to score a few points, but Oklahoma State's going to rule this game. All right, coming up next, number 13 Wisconsin versus Nebraska. And I think this game is going to be one of those, again, where it's going to be closer than people thought, with Wisconsin coming off the big win over Iowa. But I think it's going to be final score 34-21. Wisconsin's going to run away with this one. All right, next we got Memphis versus Houston. Memphis is ranked number 21. And I think this game is going to be 44-17. Memphis is going to run away with this. You know, Houston, they've been good in prior years, but this year is just not their year. And Memphis is on a roll, just knocking off SMU. They're going to come in fired up, and they're going to crush Houston. All right, next up, number 8, Utah and UCLA. Now, Utah still has a chance of making the playoffs, and I think they're not going to make that chance go to waste, and they're going to win 38-24. And it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game, and Utah is going to have ups and downs, but at the end, they're going to run away with it. Here's where it gets interesting. Number 10, Florida and Missouri. I think Missouri is pumped up after starting 5-1 and losing 3 straight. And Florida is coming in not expecting it, but I think Missouri somehow wins this one 27-20. It's going to be a really big upset, and it's going to possibly knock Florida out of a New Year's Six Bowl. And it's going to be a big-time win for Missouri. Number 7, Oregon and Arizona. I think this is just Arizona's pretty much fallen apart. And I just think that Oregon is going to come in, and they're just going to destroy. It's going to be 63-17 Oregon. And maybe you don't think this is going to be right, but watch. All right, next you've got a rivalry game. Michigan, number 14, versus Michigan State. And this game, we all know it happened a couple years ago. Check it out.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts-Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable.
All right, so now to the game prediction. I think it's going to be Michigan. So number 14, Michigan against Michigan State. And I think this is going to be a sloppy game. It's going to be it's a rivalry game, obviously. Michigan State's going to be pissed off after that loss to Illinois and their 4-5 start to the season. They're going to turn things around, and that starts next week. And I think they're going to come in big, winning against Michigan. The final score is going to be, let's say, 34-24. Michigan State wins. All right, now we have number 4, Penn State and Indiana. So I think that Penn State is going to come in. They're going to be fired up after their loss to Minnesota, and they're going to show Indiana what they're all about, and they're going to win 42-24 against Indiana. All right, next up we got number 3, Alabama, and Mississippi State. So after that devastating loss for Alabama to LSU last week, that might have ruined their playoff hopes, but they're going to try to get any chance they can to get in. And Tua is going to have a better day than he did against LSU, and I think the final score is going to be 49-13, and Alabama is going to come up with the win in this one. After LSU's convincing win over Alabama, they showed that they're a real contender for the playoff, and they increased their playoff chances by a ton. And I think that they'll keep that going. And the final score will be 34-3 LSU. Mississippi State's not really going to even have a chance. I did want to mention before we continue the video, these rankings and records some of them are not up to date, including Notre Dame's, because currently it's Sunday and the college football rankings haven't come out yet, so my apologies for that. Okay, continuing with the video, I think so. It's number 1 Ohio State against Rutgers. Rutgers, I'm just gonna be honest, they suck. But Ohio State's currently, as of the rankings now, number 1, and I think Ohio State's just gonna be too much. Simply, I think the final score is gonna be an absolute domination. 73-10, Ohio State wins. All right, now we're going to be moving on to the ranked matchups. So, number 5, Clemson versus number 19, Wake Forest. I think it will start out as a pretty close game. It's going to be a high-scoring game for sure. But I think at the end, Clemson will run away with this. It will be 52-35 Clemson. And Wake Forest is going to put up some points, but Clemson's just going to – Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne will be too much for the Wake Forest defense. All right, coming in now, number 17, Minnesota versus number 18, Iowa. And this game, it's interesting because Iowa, they're a good team. It's like they're a good team against bad teams. Their only losses are to good teams. They lost to Wisconsin, they lost to Penn State, and they lost to Michigan. But they've won all the rest of the games, making them 6-3. And Minnesota showed that they were really good, beating Penn State. Therefore, I think Iowa will take a beating and lose 38-17. All right, now we got another ranked matchup. Number 12, Baylor, and number 9, Oklahoma. Baylor is undefeated. Oklahoma has 1 loss. Now, this game is huge. It has playoff implications. And the winner, in my opinion, the winner of this game will most likely go to the playoff. And so I think that it's going to be a back-and-forth game. Usually Big 12 is high-scoring, and I think that will pretty much continue. And I think it will be 48-44. Baylor's going to win this one. All right, this is a repeat of the SEC championship from, I believe it was last year. Number 6, Georgia. Number 11, Auburn. This is going to be a great game, and I think the score will be 37-28, and I think Georgia will win this one, and Georgia will continue their hopes of making the playoffs. This game, ranked SEC matchups are usually good, like the one we just saw last week, LSU versus Alabama, and I think this one will continue, and it'll be a close game, but Georgia will just get a little lead at the end, which will push them to the victory. All right, the last matchup, but certainly not the least. Number 24, Navy at number 15, Notre Dame. This one's going to be a great one. I think this rivalry's been dating back a long time, and I think this one won't disappoint. I think final score 28-17. Of course, Notre Dame wins, and I think this will be a convincing win for Notre Dame against a quality opponent. All right, I thought you're tired of hearing my picks, so I'm going to bring my dog in to pick some of the ranked matchups for this week as well, and you have another opinion. It's time for Lou's picks. Lou's picks. Woo! All right, Clemson, Wake Forest, Lou. Which one do you think's going to lose? One more. Come on. Which one? Which one, Lou? Lou, come on. Which pick? Okay, he knocked over Wake Forest. All right, Lou's picking again. Iowa or Minnesota? Which one do you think's going to lose, Lou? Minnesota? Oh, okay. All right, now Auburn, Georgia. Which one do you think's going to lose? Oh, you think Georgia's going to lose? All right, Baylor, Oklahoma. Who do you think's going to lose now, Lou? Which one, Lou? Pick. Come on. Lou, pick. Which one? Which one? Which one? Oh, Lou agrees with me. All right, so we don't have the Navy football helmet, so I'm just using the Purdue helmet today. But it still serves the same purpose. Here they are. First, we're going to do Notre Dame Navy picks. Lou, here. Lou, which one do you pick? If he knocks it over, he thinks they're going to lose. Lou, pick. Which one? Good boy! Thank you for watching this edition of Up2date Sports. We'll be back soon. The end. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Up2date Sports.